Hello, hello, hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. And I do mean filthy. You're getting filthier by the day, my leftist stalkers. I have the emails to prove it. But welcome back to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio, and super glad to be back with y'all once again. Lots to talk about as usual. As I like to say, SSDD. And some of you might know what that means. Same bleep, different day. And we're kind of in this endless Groundhog Day of garbage nonsense, courtesy of the radical left. And I swear, ever since George Floyd's death, I didn't think it was possible for the white guilt liberals to become even more self-righteous. But yet they keep holding all my beers. They're holding all of them. I mean, these people are so far up their own cabooses. It's hilarious. If you've ever seen the South Park episode called Smug Alert, this is what's going on. It's come to life. Basically, in Smug Alert, one of the characters buys a Prius and becomes extremely, extremely arrogant and smug. And hilarity ensues from there, and they move to San Francisco, and all the liberals love the smell of their own farts. And I kind of feel like that's sort of what we're living right now. But without further ado, every week on my show, I like to dedicate a plastic straw, a sea turtle killing plastic straw. And I make that qualifier because the left likes to guilt us into not using straws because of it. A plastic straw is dedicated every week to a filthy leftist, and this week it's going to be dedicated to poor Nancy Pelosi's put upon 80-year-old kneecaps. So let us raise our Diet Cokes to Nancy's poor, pitiful knees. And why, you might ask? Well, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you've been seeing the Democrats getting extra pandery this week. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and a bunch of other stupid leftists decided to go buy some African garb. I think it was some Ghana scarf of some sort, some ceremonial clothing, and then put it around their necks, because they're down with the struggle. And then they took a knee for George Floyd. And this virtue signaling has now gone to 11. 11 every day. It's something new. And it's amazing. It's amazing. No, and I said this last week. Nobody thinks that what happened to George Floyd is okay. Not one single person. Not one. And justice is taking its course. And Siobhan has been arrested and the other officers have been arrested. And, let's see what happens in court. But what these leftists are doing is ridiculous. They are literally kneeling for a lifelong violent criminal who was high on meth and fentanyl. And we didn't see what happened before the struggle occurred. We didn't see why the police were called in the first place. But again, a violent lifelong criminal. And one of his crimes was a home invasion robbery. And he put a gun to a pregnant woman's belly. It's like, okay. Yeah, he's not Martin Luther King, all right? He's not Nelson Mandela. And, Nelson Mandela was a communist himself, but, was in jail for the cause and certainly didn't seem as violent as George Floyd was in much of his life. But what I think we as Americans need to understand is that the left is playing for keeps. And someone posted this on Twitter, and I stole it. I admit it, I stole it. Leftists want us all dead or as subjects, so you better act accordingly. And that's where we're at. Are you going to be a serf or are you going to be a free human being? Because the left is saying you're either going to come along with us and think exactly what we think, walk in lockstep with us, or we're going to destroy your life. And it's taking many forms. The coronavirus hoax, this, George Floyd, ridiculous, state funeral, Cinderella being drawn by a horse-drawn carriage. I mean, seriously. It's like, okay, does George have to be home before midnight or the carriage turns back into a pumpkin? Just absolute ridiculousness what's going on. And yesterday in Houston, just when you think Lena Hidalgo has gone away, oh no, she's back. Lena Hidalgo, our juvenile toddler of a Harris County judge, she's come up with a system, a coronavirus panic system, to make sure that everyone stays in a sufficient state of panic and doesn't go back to normal life. Whatever you do, don't go back to normal life. So it's a four color stages, and she said, "Well, we are now in orange stage, and that's not the worst stage. The worst stage is red, and if we get to red, that means you have to stay home." As I'm driving down Westheimer, which is completely packed, and everyone's going about their lives, and everyone is, as I hope at least, I hope in their minds, flipping Lena Hidalgo off, because I certainly was. And whether it's the coronavirus scam, the George Floyd scam, the ongoing push for mail-in balloting and ginning up hatred between races again, which I said last week, Corona is now over. It's on to the race war. And now we've seen Black Lives Matter rear its head again. And Black Lives Matter was lingering on the vine. Nothing much was going on for a couple of years. And then boom, right before an election again, something magically happens that Black Lives Matter can capitalize upon. And boy, didn't they. But remember a couple of years ago, it's always the scam of Black Lives Matter to say, oh, well, you don't support Black lives. You want Black people to die. That's what the left always does. They have an innocent sounding name. And then, of course, their agenda is completely left-wing radical and insane. And so Black Lives Matter has completely dominated the news for the last 2 weeks, raised millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars. But now they finally come out of the closet once and for all. And their agenda is very clear. They have said it out loud. They want to defund the police. Defund all of the police, which, you might be scratching your head and saying, well, what happens if there's an accident on the street? Like, who's going to come to investigate that accident? Who's going to come if someone breaks into my house? And everyone's making the joke of, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. You can't call the police. Police are gone. Police are defunded. It's utopia. It's nirvana. And this has been their goal all along. But groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, they've come out with lists of demands. After Minneapolis has completely caved and said they're going to defund the police in Minneapolis, and Los Angeles said they're going to defund by $150 million. New York City is saying, wouldn't that be great? Bill de Blasio's insane daughter with her bug eyes was arrested as one of the rioters in New York City. And, badge of honor for her father, I'm sure. He's super proud of his daughter, don't you know? But his wife, the girl's mother, said, if we could defund the police, it would just be utopia and nirvana. And this is the story of the big lie of communism and the big lie of the left, is that they think, well, our ideas are correct. It's just never been done the right way. It's just never had the right people in place, and it's never been the perfect time. It wasn't the right time in 1919. It wasn't the right time in 1959 in Cuba. It wasn't the right time in when the Chinese had their communist revolution. It's never the right time. But you know what? We can do it. It's the height of narcissism. But Antifa has now come out with some lists of demands. Let me read a few for you. And this is real life. I just want to stress to you, this is real life. Number one, now this is from Antifa in Seattle as they've come up with their new, their Antifa zone. They've seceded from the United States, which, side note, if they've declared war on the United States and have seceded from the Union, I would imagine that the United States can see Antifa as enemy combatants and, let the games begin. That's going to be fun. But here's the number one. The Seattle Police Department and attached court system are beyond reform. We do not request reform. We demand abolition. In a transitory period between now and the dismantlement of the Seattle Police Department, we demand that the use of armed force be banned entirely. So they don't want any citizens to have any guns or any way to protect themselves. And certainly law enforcement is going to be gone, so they won't have any guns. But if you've noticed what's going on in Seattle with their little, their new little city nicknamed Chaz, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, CHAZ, and everyone's jokingly calling it Chaz, the country of Chaz. They have set up borders. They've made sure that people are stopped and frisked to make sure they're not carrying weapons. And then they have their armed brown shirts who do have the weapons. And what's funny also is they're going around to shopkeepers demanding money in order for the brown shirts to protect them, which is, it's this awesome conglomerate of the mob, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the brown shirts, all mushed together. And there's a ton of demands, and the demands are awesome. The demands are hilarious, but it's a scary situation we're in because these people are deadly serious. And we have a group of people who are just coddling them. We'll get more into that when I get back. Stick around. Angela Soapbox. Be right back.
Hey, Saints and Patriots, it's Claver, and our big puppy Butch thinks he's the king of the castle. Whatever we need for Butch Cassidy Alexander Kamau Imadi, we get it from the RER Pet Store, powered by Amazon. It's really easy. Let me show you how. First, go to RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Scroll down the right column until you see the RER Pet Store. Put in the product that you want. Let's say dog travel kennels. Hit go. And there you are on Amazon.com's website. Choose the product that you want and click on it. Now you have a choice. Add it to your shopping cart or buy right now. You put it in your shopping cart or you buy it right away, Raging Elephants Radio gets your support. So please, support Raging Elephants Radio, our expansion, our growth, by getting all of your pet supplies through the RER Marketplace powered by Amazon. Hey, we get just a small commission, but it keeps the lights on, it keeps us growing, and it keeps us spreading Texas Liberty 411. You're already an Amazon shopper, so remember, just go to RagingElePhantsRadio.com first, put whatever product you want in any one of the search boxes on the website, go to the Amazon.com website, and whatever you put into your shopping cart, Raging Elephants Radio will get a small commission. We're not asking you to stop shopping at Amazon.com. We want you to shop at Amazon.com. Just get there through RagingElePhantsRadio.com. And let me thank you in advance on behalf of all the fur babies out there for supporting the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty.
Do it. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Howdy, rowdy Texans. It's me, E, the millennial voice of RER. I'm a big fan of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. More Texas voters should be listening to RER every day. A better, deeper knowledge of how Texas works will help Texas voters to make Texas more like Texas. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 Challenge. 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas Liberty.
I'm all for peaceful protest. All for it. We saw a bunch of normal Americans peacefully protesting the draconian lockdowns. And they were called murderers. They were called murderers and threatening the general public because they were carrying their weapons as they went to protest at the various capitals in the blue states. Not one time was there any incidences whatsoever. Completely peaceful. And Don Lemon he brought that up with Chris Coleman. He goes, "Oh, did you see when the white people went to protest reopening the states, the police left them alone?" Yeah, because the people protesting to reopen the states weren't being violent. And this is the lie. What the left, this is the big lie, is that what we are seeing, largely peaceful. And maybe that is true. Maybe that is true that 90% of the people walking around with their fists in the air saying F the police, defund the police, F Trump, his head on a stake. Saw that. That was a beauty. Maybe that is peaceful. But their goals are certainly not peaceful. Their goals are not peaceful. And then when you have people rioting, setting fire to buildings, looting neighborhoods, looting places where black people have to go to shop, those black lives, again, they don't matter. The only black lives that matter are evidently criminals, lifelong criminals, who are killed by police, like George Floyd. And I know you're not supposed to talk about facts about George Floyd. Now, it was said that he was turning his life around, and good for him. But there's also something very interesting that's come out recently in the last few days. That Derek Chauvin, the officer now in custody for his killing, and George Floyd evidently knew each other quite well because they worked together as security guards at a nightclub for like 17 years. Because, police officers don't get paid enough to not have to go get a second job moonlighting somewhere. So evidently they had beef. So what do you know? It wasn't about race at all. It turns out it may have been personal. And I imagine Chauvin's defense is going to come out with some different alternative version of facts than what the news has been telling you. But okay, so back to the peaceful protesters that were holding their guns, some of them holding their guns in these blue state protests. And now it's fine to protest as long as you're protesting for Black Lives Matter. And we have the cucks and the betas and the pandering scum, the enablers to this terrorist organization. And that's right, I said it. Because Black Lives Matter has now come out and said that it's not about Black lives. It's about defunding the police. It's not about Black lives living in Chicago and inner cities who have terrible schools and terrible living conditions that have been run by Democrats for the last 60 years. No, it's about defunding the police. It's about remaking America in a different image, which is what the left has wanted to do from day one. Nothing ever changes with these freaks. It's all about tearing down the system and rebuilding it in their image. And everyone remember Colin Kaepernick, that clown. This is the whole reason it started, the taking a knee. And Colin Kaepernick, who wore his little football socks with the police dressed as pigs on them. This was never about anything other than destroying America and rebuilding it. Infiltration, not invasion. Because America could not be taken down from outside forces. It has to be taken down from the inside. And the left understands that, which is why we had 8 years of Barack Obama talking about how crappy America was, buying into every left-wing trope out there. The fact that Colin Kaepernick's actions have largely been memory hold now, the pig socks defending Fidel Castro, is just a symptom of the larger problem. Last week I was talking about how Drew Brees caved and apologized to the Black Lives Matter terrorists and the media terrorists and the Twitter mob, which is when what he should have said was, I have a different opinion than you. F off. You don't like it? I really don't care. You don't want me as quarterback of your team? Bye. Peace. But of course, Drew Brees didn't do that. He bent over and he took it. And he's still capitulating. Now, this is the big picture, how everyone says, well, if you don't support Black Lives Matter, you're a racist, Drew Brees. And so now he's saying, well, of course I support Black Lives Matter. We need massive reforms in police departments. Really? Really? Because last year, with a 44 million population of African Americans, there were only 9 incidences of police killing black men. Again, in a country of 44 million black people. That's systemic? Really? Because systemic means it's in the system. But now the definition of racism is changing, isn't it? Racism used to mean one thing. You discriminate against someone based on the color of their skin. And remember, only white people can be racist, not black people. Oh, no. But I could tell you some stories otherwise. But it's always expanding. Because now, anyone who disagrees with the political aspirations of Black Lives Matter and its supporters, which, again, are champions of a hodgepodge of leftist causes, you are now a bigot. But see, most Americans want to find ways to improve everybody's lot, everybody's lives. Conservatives certainly do, and we have very specific ideas on how to do that. Number one is trust the individual to make their best choices for their own lives, your own self-interest. If you're acting in your own self-interest, that's going to trickle down to society. But we have different ways of accomplishing those things than the left does. And for those of us who refuse to kneel to anybody but God, refuse to buy into the idea that America is inherently racist, how are we going to break through the monolith of the media? I don't know. I do know that the silent majority has had enough, but the silent majority needs to not be so silent anymore. Because instead of capitulating like Drew Brees did, and this is the thing, Drew Brees has plenty of money. Like he could go away tomorrow and say, "Peace, I'm going to Bora Bora to live with my family. Have a nice time here in burning America. Thank you, leftists." But more people need to stand up and saying, "I'm so sorry. I have a different opinion than you. That doesn't mean I'm a racist. I'm not going to sit here and defend everything I've ever said or done, or saying, oh, look at this black friend I have, or this, it's ridiculous. You can't prove a negative." But if more and more people just said, I'm not going to apologize for having a different opinion, because that's what this country was founded upon, is robust debate, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of association. It was not founded on memory holing people, ideas, statements, statues that you find, quote, problematic. And now we're back into the removing the statue phase of this movement, which again, 2 years ago, same thing, right before the election. Look at the spike in Black Lives Matter right before the 2016 election, and now we have it again. And they're trying to remove statues again. You can remove every statue, every portrait, every bust of any Confederate person in America. They won't stop hating you, conservatives, because it's not about the symbols, it's about you. They're trying to control you. They're trying to control what you think, what you say, what you do, with whom you associate. In Houston yesterday, there was a statue of Christopher Columbus that was defaced. And the radio station that I was listening to interviewed a woman who was real happy about it. She said, I'm glad this has happened. All these statues need to be removed, because Christopher Columbus is how America got started, and America is a horrible place. And this is a woman who's lived in Houston her entire life. The brainwashing is so over the top at this point. And we have an entire generation of people who have not been taught history, who do not understand why America was founded, do not understand that we fought a war to get rid of slavery, do not understand that every society since the beginning of time have had slaves, including, oh, guess who? Black people in Africa, including, oh, guess who? Native Americans. Oh, including, guess who? Arabs in the Middle East. And oh, they still have them today. But America fought a war to get rid of slavery. But the left doesn't care. We'll be right back.
Automobile aficionado, Apostle Claver here. Let me introduce you to my mechanic, an ASC certified mechanic, Andre at America's Repair in Houston. Now, you guys know I'm a former fully sponsored race car driver and I own a high performance auto. You bet I'm particular about who even touches my car. I go to America's Repair to get all my auto work done, and you should too. Andre has served Spring Branch and all of Houston for over 20 years. America's Repair will match or beat any competitor's price. All repairs come with a 1-year, 12,000-mile warranty. America's Repair is a complete car care and repair center. State inspection, muffler and exhaust work, wheel alignment, brake work, tune-ups, engine transmission work, auto body and paint. Great deals on oil change and AC checkup. America's Repair accepts all extended warranties. 2005 North Gessner, 1 mile north of Memorial City Mall in the Katy. Wednesday is senior citizen discounts. Thursday, active military discount. Call 713-467-2001. 713-467-2001. AmericasRepair.com. Or click the ad on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Doc says all the best words start with P. Prudence is a good word. Airlines will always say, put your own mask on first, then help your loved ones. Prudence means making sure that your family food supply is secure. Most stores have at best a 72-hour supply of food, and if something goes wrong, resupply will not happen quickly. You should have at least a 90-day supply of your favorites because it will allow you to weather the worst crisis and make plans for the future. The answer is newmanna.com. NUMANNA. New Manna is not just food storage, but really tasty food that you will enjoy eating. New Manna food is designed to last for 25 years, but many people enjoy it several times a week. Now is the time to lay in a supply of tasty New Manna food for your family. Be prepared and know your family is safe. Go to newmanna.com right now for fast delivery. That's newmanna.com.
What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texit, I'm in it. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
What do you care about Washington, D.C.? D.C. doesn't care about you. You're a Texan. You're a Texan above all else. And there's only one radio station that's going to feed your need for Texas power and independence. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Finally, the Patriots of the Lone Star State have a unified voice to fight back and organize. 24/7, 365. RagingElePhantsRadio.com is going to give you what you need to know about Texas politics, liberty, and independence. Take us wherever you go. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Streaming on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and internet auto.
Welcome back once again to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio. So I guess we can assume now that George Floyd is the new patron saint of white guilt. I wrote an article about it this week on angelasoapbox.com. Please check it out. There's lots of content on there. I've been writing for quite a long time. It's like a journal. It's like a time capsule of all the stupidity leftists are putting us through in the 21st century, the early 21st century. And there's a lot of stupidity. But anyway, George Floyd seems to be the new patron saint of white guilt. Remember, it was Barack Obama before. What white guilt liberals would virtue signal that they voted for Obama, no matter what a disaster he was. And speaking of Obama, remember, he was president for 8 years, first black president. Why didn't all this stuff get fixed when Barack Obama was president? Donald Trump's only been on the political scene for 5 years. 2015 is when he started popping up his head, running for office. Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, Biden, Clinton, all the rest of them, all these filthy leftists have been in politics, have been in government. Maxine Waters for literally decades. Why didn't they fix all the problems of Black America? Because the left thinks you're stupid. They think you're stupid. And now that George Floyd is the new patron saint of white guilt, they think they're gonna run with this all the way till the election. Because nothing is what it seems. Coronavirus, the Black Lives Matter resurgence, Antifa mobs, it's all for one thing. It's so that Democrats win in November. That's it. Because they're going to say, oh, we're going to fix it all. Promise. We're going to fix it. It's going to be great. We're going to get rid of racism. And you know who's racist? Those Republicans. And, the statue removal stuff is also, if you think about it, who are they trying to remove? Confederate statues. And Republicans aren't sitting there going, oh, we love these guys. This is great. But we have such a narcissistic point of view now that people think that the time we are living in is the only time that's ever been. That nothing came before was good, and nothing that is coming after will be bad from the time that we live now. And the Confederate figures that they want to erase from history were Democrats. And Republicans do not want to erase history. We're not the book burners. They're the book burners. We want to learn from our history and understand that the times in which people lived were unique to them in that time period. Just like our time period is going to be unique. And, leftists 20 years from now are going to look back and think that there was something terribly wrong with us and that they are the ones to fix everything. This is a massive scam. And I'm not for taking down one single statue. I'm for perhaps having a plaque or an explanation of who this person was in history, in the time they were in, and see what we've accomplished since then. But that is never good enough because they want to be in control of everything. They want to memory hole everything that put them in a bad light. Because remember, all these figures were Democrats. And Democrats have been the ones holding down the black community since the beginning of time. It is amazing how they've switched so many people's mindsets. Because in the 60s in the Great Society, that's when they started telling black people, you don't need fathers. The state will take care of you. You can have as many children as you want with however many fathers you want, and the state will take care of you. And not just black people. I mean, happened in white America too. I hate saying that. White America, black America. It happened in all races in the Great Society when we started seeing out-of-wedlock births skyrocketing in all races, but particularly in the black community. Now, Oprah Winfrey has once again set herself up as, queen mediator, I guess. And this past week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, all of Discovery Networks, so anything Discovery owns, spent 2 nights lecturing America on how racist we were. And Oprah Winfrey was leading the discussion. And I call it, it was a ransom. It was a hostage summit. Holding America hostage, saying, what do we demand? Here's what we demand. And you know who she had on? She had people like Stacey Abrams. And she had all these, ticked off every leftist trope you could find. She had it on there telling us how horrible America is, how we basically need to start fresh, and we need to realize the vision of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reimagine it in their vision, in their image. We understand, the free thinkers understand that this is all BS. This unrest that we are once again witnessing, like clockwork right before an election, was pre-planned and waiting for the right moment. They finally got a video that gave them some traction. All the weeping and screaming suburban whites that are now going to vote for Joe Biden and his black woman VP, whoever that is, insert black woman, because a black criminal died at the hands of a dumbass cop. They were just waiting for their moment. And it's amazing to watch that this moment is kind of like what had happened with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand that set off World War I. This person unwittingly unloosed a chain of events that set off World War I. And in this case, unwittingly, it has set off possibly a civil war in America. And even if every person in America decides to say, you know what, I am not a racist, I'm not going to let these people tell me I am, and they all go vote for Donald Trump because they realize he ain't perfect by any stretch, but no man is and no politician is. But Donald Trump is playing whack-a-mole, 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 whack-a-mole with everything that comes up, everything they throw at him. He's trying to put out all these fires. If every person in America goes and votes for Trump, it is not going to change the culture. And that's what we are witnessing right now, a cultural revolution. And a lot of people lately have been talking about it. But it's really obvious to anyone with eyes to see that this is what's going on, because the left has taken over academia, the media, the medical establishment, science. They've taken over all the left-wing corporations. All corporations are pretty much leftist. They all parrot the same things. Hollywood is far left. So breaking through that propaganda is more important than ever. It's more important than ever for the people who do make this country work and who are tired of being called racist because they exist, because of the color of their skin. It is time for more and more people to either ignore these leftist cultural influences or speak out against them. Speak out against Oprah Winfrey, billionaire Oprah Winfrey, telling us how bad we all are. Because we don't support a bunch of terrorists in Black Lives Matter who have demands to defund the police, which, by the way, is going to impact minority communities more than anywhere else. Because you know what? That's where most of the crime is. I know it's hard. It's facts. Facts are pesky things to the left. They like to say that crime goes on in minority communities because of racism. No, crime goes on in minority communities because those communities have so few opportunities, not because of racism, but because of a system that run by Democrats, which has given them crappy schools, told them they don't need fathers in the home, told them they don't need families, told them that it's the white man keeping you down. And here's some crumbs. The erasing history to coddle the mob is not going to stop black on black crime in Chicago. It's not going to stop fatherless children from going into crappy schools and getting that prison pipeline that the left likes to talk about. And again, who are the ones creating it? The left. When I was a teacher, and I talked about this last week, when I was a teacher and I would tell kids, you have two choices. You have success, you have prison. And that got me in a lot of trouble. But it's true. Because so many of those kids in those communities are going to end up in jail. Because that's what they've seen. That's what they've been told is okay. Even though the adults in their lives who are straight with them are like, you don't want this life. A lot of these kids, that's what they're going to be dealing with. Democrats have the boots on the backs of the black community's neck, and they've done it for 50 years. They play them like a fiddle. So when you have billionaire Oprah Winfrey coming out talking about what are our demands, it's systemic racism. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's the biggest lie of all. You're listening to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio, and we'll be back.
Hey, Saints and Patriots, it's Claver, and our big puppy Butch thinks he's the king of the castle. Whatever we need for Butch Cassidy Alexander Kamau Imadi, we get it from the RER Pet Store, powered by Amazon. It's really easy. Let me show you how.
First, go to RagingElephantsRadio.com. Scroll down the right column until you see the RER Pet Store. Put in the product that you want. Let's say dog travel kennels. Hit go. And there you are on Amazon.com's website. Choose the product that you want and click on it. Now you have a choice. Add it to your shopping cart or buy right now. When you put it in your shopping cart or you buy it right away, Raging Elephants Radio gets your support. So please,
Support Raging Elephants Radio, our expansion, our growth, by getting all of your pet supplies through the RER Marketplace powered by Amazon. Hey, we get just a small commission, but it keeps the lights on, it keeps us growing, and it keeps us spreading Texas Liberty 411. You're already an Amazon shopper, so remember, just go to RagingElephantsRadio.com first, put whatever product you want in any one of the search boxes on the website, go to the Amazon.com website, and whatever you put into your shopping cart, Raging Elephants Radio will get a small commission. We're not asking you to stop shopping at Amazon.com. We want you to shop at Amazon.com. Just get there through RagingElephantsRadio.com. And let me thank you in advance on behalf of all the fur babies out there for supporting the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty.
The battle for liberty rages in every Texas community, none more so than in the nation's fourth largest city, Houston, Texas. A tyrannical mayor denies the right to vote to the citizens of the city, signs executive orders that violate the Texas Constitution and the charter of the city, and issues subpoenas for the sermons of pastors. And when the frontline leaders against the mayor's totalitarian agenda wanted a broadcast partner for their Faith, Family, and Freedom tour, who did they request? RagingElephantsRadio.com.
There are a lot of great folks that we owe a big debt of gratitude for promoting this issue from day one. I want to recognize my friend Claver and the folks over at Raging Elephants over here. He was on it from day one. Every single week this man talks about this issue. And so thank you, Claver, for never giving in, never backing down, and continuing to be that loud conservative voice.
RagingElephantsRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty.
Welcome back to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio. You want some more, boys and girls? Well, I'm here to give it to you. Yes, indeed, we are in the middle of a cultural revolution. It's been going on for quite some time. We have all of our institutions, media, Hollywood, academia, science, the bureaucracy, all of them gunning for the same team, all of them parroting the same things. This is what propaganda looks like. And again, we could all go and push our lever for Trump and Pence in November. It's not going to stop it. And, Trump's going to be around for 4 more years at the most. So what then? If you haven't figured out yet that this is a silent war and it's a silent civil war, you better pull your heads out of your butts. The culture continues to degrade. We keep slouching further and further towards Gomorrah. The great Robert Bork wrote a great book years ago called Slouching Towards Gomorrah. That's where I stole it from. I give attribution when I steal. Unlike shoplifters who just think they can take willy-nilly if they're black and won't be punished for it. Because, which reminds me, Walmart, which has taken to, in their toiletry section, their makeup section, they have a lot of things behind glass now, and you have to ask someone to, unlock it and so you can get the thing you need. Well, evidently, Walmart had put all the hair products for people of color behind glass. And there's now an uproar about it because of course. So Walmart has capitulated to the mob, to the Twitter mob and the Black Lives Matter activists, and they're now removing the glass from the people of color hair products. So I guess they can shoplift with impunity because the reason it was there is because all that crap is being shoplifted and stolen. But remember, Walmart, you are evil, racist overlords, and black people and people of color are victims, and they should be allowed to steal whatever they want from you because reparations. So that's the message we're sending now. White people bad. Wait, not all white people, excuse me. Distinction. White conservatives are bad. and everyone else who follows the leftist talking points is good. And until more and more people have the cojones to stand up and say, just because I have a difference of opinion from you doesn't mean I'm a racist, and go F yourself, and you're not going to tell me what to think or do. This is going to continue. When you are dealing with a situation where your bosses and your boss's boss, if you're in a corporate setting, have bought into this garbage, and you're outed, if you have a Twitter page or a Facebook post that's outed to your boss or your boss's boss, and they want to fire you for it, when you're not calling for violence, you simply have a difference of opinion. This is scary stuff. This is what happened before Hitler took over, or as Hitler was taking over. The brown shirts, who were his police force, Antifa, you could make the correlation to Antifa now, telling everyone what to think, telling everyone how to behave, saying that we are going to put signs on your windows to say that this is a black-owned business, so this is a good place to shop from. Does that remind anybody of anything? Oh, I don't know. How about putting the Star of David on Jewish businesses, calling out, oh, this is where the Jews are, so don't go here. But flip it. Here's where the black-owned businesses are, so they're virtuous, and you can shop there. Uber and Uber Eats, which, by the way, I will never, ever take another Uber or anything from Uber Eats as long as I live again. Uber Eats last week, in the height of this stupidity, said that they were going to be, for the next 6 months, they were going to waive all delivery charges if you order from a black-owned restaurant. Huh? I mean, this is legitimately against the law. And they're like, oh, that's okay. Who's going to sue us? None of the cucks in America, evidently. I mean, where's the class action lawsuit from restaurant owners who are not black-owned, saying, hello, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, you can't do this. I haven't seen it yet. Have you? Nope. And until more and more people start pushing back against this cultural revolution, they're just going to continue to bulldoze. Hollywood, academia, the bureaucracy, corporate America, they are all sprinting as fast as they can towards their new world order of Robespierre justice for anyone who dissents with wrongthink. Most of these drones have zero understanding of history, zero understanding that history always repeats. And we're anyone who has a head on their shoulders and a brain in that head on their shoulders understands that history is repeating itself. They think these mindless drone leftist robots think that being woke is a brand new concept. It isn't. Talk to anyone who has escaped a communist country, and they will tell you this is not what you want. Talk to anyone who has escaped an African hellhole where warlords have taken over, and they will tell you this is not what you want. After England left Africa, and after the colonists left Africa, and it was destroyed within a generation or less than that, they'll tell you this isn't what you want. Total allegiance to the far left gets more nihilistic by the hour. They have now said if you support Western civilization as a concept, equal justice under the law, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, all the great things that started with the Magna Carta in 1215. They're saying if you support these ideals, if you support America as founded, you are a racist, you are this, that. There's no negotiating with people like that. Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, the dictionary, the arbiter of black and white facts, they actually caved into the mob, and they are changing the definition of the word racism to satisfy the triggered needs of one person. And Here's what happened. Some black chick tweeted at Merriam-Webster and said, your definition of racism doesn't include systemic oppression of people of color, and that basically people of color can't be racist because they've been oppressed for so long, and systemic racism this and, blah, 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 that. I'm so sorry, but I have seen more black people be racist towards white people than the other way around. By far. When I was working in the public school systems, I was called a white devil more times than I can count if I tried to discipline a student. Where'd they learn that? From their parents. That's where they learn that. Because children are not born racist. You have to learn that crap. And I was taught from a very young age, we all bleed red. You judge people on the content of their character. Period. Dot. The end. There are good people and bad people of all races and colors. But listening to Black Lives Matter and our cultural left, you wouldn't think that anymore. And if you dissent from what they tell you to think, you are ripe for destruction. The mob will descend upon you and try and take your livelihood, take your business, turn your children against you. The New York Times is telling children, you need to tell on your parents. This is called, for those of you who don't know history, East German communists, it's called Stasi. Children are in there narking on their parents to the state. And in some cases, their parents were removed from the home and executed because they had wrongthink. This is actually happening. Another example, HBO and others have now caved to the mob, and they have removed Gone with the Wind from its platform, which is a fantastic movie and a fantastic book, which you should read. It's very long. It is a great historical reference of the antebellum South. And to understand that time period leading up to the Civil War and during the Civil War. Not all people are good and not all people are bad. People are often a lot of things mixed all together. And before you lump someone and call them a racist, you need to understand history always repeats. And we are now in the mob mentality part of our history again. This is Angela Box with Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio. And we'll be right back.
Hey, Barry the Music Man here for Tejas Smoke Depot. They have everything you need when it comes to smoke. Check out the 150 square foot walk-in humidor filled with a huge selection of fine cigars. Or give them a call at 830-990-1472 and order up what you want. Maybe you like to roll your own. They have it. Maybe you need a gift for a smoker in the family. How about a new pipe? They have a large selection, even a cross-section of great beers in stock. In a hurry, come by and use the drive-thru. Located at 1639 West Highway 290 in Fredericksburg, Texas. Out of town? Visit them at the website, TejasSmokeDepot.com, or call 830-990-1472. That's 830-990-1472. It's smoking.
What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texit, I'm in it. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it. on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Green Air Technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle. Now featuring Biosphere. Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
Hey Texans, this is Wendy. Let me introduce you to the RER Pet Store powered by Amazon. In the RER Pet Store, anything that Amazon carries is available to you. Instead of going directly to Amazon, come to RagingElePhantsRadio.com first. Click on the RER Pet Store link and search for whatever you need for your furry buddy. How about this? Whenever it's time for dog or cat food, get it through the RER Pet Store powered by Amazon. Another easy way to support the rebellious voice of Texas liberty. RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Welcome back once again to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio. Oh, Lordy. Just when you think there's sanity back, the left pulls you back in. I want to be done with these people, but they won't let me. That's the one thing we know. The left is always going to keep pushing. Remember, they got gay marriage, and then the next day it was about transgender bathrooms and transgender everything and pronouns. So they never stop. So Drew Brees, you should have learned that lesson and not apologized or capitulated to the mob for 1 second. So much we didn't get to today. Next week we will touch on lots of things. More attempts by Texas Democrats to voter suppress, but the Texas Supreme Court shot it down. And shockingly, some sanity coming from Art Acevedo, who testified in front of Congress this week, saying, no, we shouldn't defund the police. That's real dumb. Are there some reforms that can be made? Sure. But let's stop pretending that there are white men in hoods around every corner, shall we? People need to take responsibility for their own actions, period, dot, the end. I've had a blast again this week, y'all. Please check out my website, angelasoapbox.com, and I will be back next week for another edition of Angela Soapbox on the great Raging Elephants Radio. Have an awesome one, you guys. See ya!